All right, we are back, and I have a pretty powerful beast here. This is the Dell Pro Max 18 Plus. Yeah, a lot to say in the name. However, this has a lot going on under the hood. Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX. You got NVIDIA Pro graphics here. The RTX Pro 5000 Blackwell graphics. So we are talking about a fully decked out machine here. It has 128 gigabytes of CAM2 memory. So that is really fast, good memory here. Modern standard, obviously. It's optional. You can go with regular SODIMM slots if you need to. It's got 4 SSD slots. We have a RAID 0 going on in my configuration that Dell sent over. And we got an 18-inch QHD Plus display, 2560 by 1600, 120 hertz, a bright display, and it is pretty nice. Now, it's not OLED. 18-inch, you're not going to find, very rare you're going to find OLED. But it is pretty great in terms of coverage of the color gamut. It is also color accurate. We got plenty of ports here, including 2 Thunderbolt 5 ports. We've got an 8 megapixel IR webcam for video conferencing, and it is the complete package. Of course, this comes with a hefty price tag, as you would expect for a professional mobile workstation. We'll get into that and more in this review. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the Dell Pro Max 18 Plus mobile workstation, brand new for 2025. Coming up. Okay, let's start off with the build and design, and what we're looking at here is a pretty chunky boy here. You can see it. It is pretty hefty here. I did my measurement of the weight. Obviously, I'll put it on the screen, and I will show you the measurement that I got, but this is going to weigh you down a little bit in your bag. So I wouldn't call this really portable, but it's portable enough to take with you on the go. Now, it has some thickness. Of course, it does have a triple fan cooling system we'll talk about in a little bit, but the overall build and design here is actually really, really good. You have 180 degrees in terms of the screen going back as far as you see there, so you're going to get a perfect viewing angle, minimal screen wobble, so that is looking good as well. Even when you're typing, everything's stiff, firm, everything the way you'd like it, and it looks really good. Just the unit alone, so 3.611 kilograms, okay, and that is 7 pounds, 15.4 ounces. And then with the power charger and the power cord, a total travel weight of 4.273 kilograms. And that is in pounds, 9 pounds, 6.8 ounces. So definitely have to take with you on the road. But considering the kind of power this is packing under the hood, it is actually portable to bring between different offices and obviously room to room as well if you're working at home. Let's talk about the keyboard here. You got a numeric keypad. It is fully functional here. It's a nice layout in terms of the way it should be for number crunchers to do Excel spreadsheets, documents, and the like. And then, of course, you have a really nice keys here. Good key travel, very comfortable for typing out documents, emails, and the like. There's a multi-stage backlight on it, and you could probably get a good look at it over here. That is going to be great for getting work done if you're in a dark room or dimly lit environment. Now you have a touchpad here. It's a glass touchpad. It's got precision in it in terms of being an accurate in terms of scrolling and doing all the gestures. Unfortunately, it's not a haptic touchpad. And of course, at this level and price point, I would expect a haptic touchpad. We will see that on the Dell Pro Max 16 Premium, also the 14 Premium that is coming. I have that on the way in terms of the 14-inch and then followed by the 16-inch, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. That will have haptics in terms of the touchpad. Here, it is a traditional style touchpad, but I've had no issue with it in terms of doing all the things you need to do with it, scrolling, gestures, and the like. Let's talk display here. So this is going to be an 18-inch display. It's IPS, not OLED or anything like that. And this is going to be 2560 by 1600. It's bright, it's sharp, it's got excellent coverage of the color gamut. It has an anti-reflective coating on it. It's almost like a matte finish, so you don't get a lot of unnecessary glare and reflection. It's good for consuming media if you need to. In terms of your downtime, want to watch a movie, you can certainly do that very well on this. But having 18 inches in terms of the screen real estate is a big plus in my opinion in terms of productivity work, getting work done in Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, spreadsheets when you need to. But of course, with the professional work, 3D rendering, this, of course, will obviously have ISV certified applications that it will run. So you're looking at SolidWorks and the like. You're looking at a lot of professional grade workstation applications. So architects, medical imaging, 3D rendering, high-end video editing, like movie studios will use this. Now, this is an IPS display, so for those that are looking for OLED and stuff like that, that's not what really you're going to find on an 18-inch. I don't think they make one, number one, and if they do, it's not in mass quantities that they'll need. But having said that, this is going to have some of the advantages you don't have on a OLED, or some of the disadvantages, right? So you don't have to worry about screen burning. You don't have to worry about PWM or screen flickering. It's not present here. So that is one advantage of going with an OLED, an IPS display like this. Now, speaking of OLED, or more specifically tandem OLED, I will be looking at the Dell Pro 14, the Dell Pro Max 14 Premium and the Dell Pro Max 16 Premium. That's coming. I actually have the 14-inch coming in any day now. To probably get it today, so I should have something very soon. But we'll get to that, obviously, when those come in. And then this, of course, are the more powerful workstations in their lineup, and these are the more really the ones that the companies are going to look for the sheer raw power. And obviously the performance numbers bear that out. Talk performance here. As far as the Core Ultra 9 285HX, this, of course, is a high-end level from Intel in terms of CPU. Good single and multi-core performance. So no doubt about it. For everything you're going to throw at this, this can handle it. As you can see, the Geekbench 6 results, and of course the Cinebench 2024 evidence of this excellent single and multi-core performance. So you're definitely going to benefit in there. Now, graphics wise, we're looking at pro level graphics here. We're talking about the NVIDIA RTX Pro 5000. That, of course, is Blackwell, 24 gigabytes of video memory. So you're going to get the best of the best in terms of that. I was able to do my Fusion Bench DaVinci Resolve benchmark, obviously, that I run on these machines. And as you can see, it did very well. I put it up against its competitor, one of its competitors, the HP ZBook Fury, that 18-inch monster that we're going to look at next. I will go head-to-head with this as well, so stay tuned. That will be coming. I'm running these back-to-back, so stay tuned. That will be debuting soon. Now, as far as this is concerned, as far as the display and everything, it worked out really well with this GPU-CPU combination. Now, what about gaming? Yes, you can game on your downtime. Of course, this is not a consumer-level graphics, but certainly capable. Now, for those wondering, the RTX Pro 5000 Blackwell graphics are the equivalent, or maybe even better in some cases, it depends on how it's utilized, than the RTX 5090 on the consumer side of things. So that gives you an idea of just how powerful this GPU is. And you're really not buying this to game on. Obviously, you can just go a lot cheaper and get a gaming laptop, but I just wanted to point that out. On your downtime, when you have some spare time, you can play some games. So just keep that in mind. Now, as far as the thermals, very good here. So they did something incredible here in terms of voodoo magic. I don't know what they did here, but they were able to keep the cooling at bay here using a 3-fan solution. So I think that was the right way to go. But it never got over a certain decibel level. It's pretty quiet. In fact, remarkably quiet compared to, say, the HP ZBook, which was louder. Even the 16-inch version of this, which is to be expected to be louder. It's a smaller chassis, so less room to cool, less dissipation to work with, so less headway. So this is going to be great for those that need to cool the laptop and not have to worry about jet engines taking off. So it's been relatively cool and quiet, which has been quite remarkable. So they did a great job there. I didn't see any throttling to be worried about on this. When it's under heavy load, it really gives you maximum power here. So that has been great. Surface temperatures remained at bay, even under heavy load, so didn't find too many hot spots here. So really, really good job here, Dell, in terms of the thermals. Now, when it comes to battery life, actually, this is not terrible, right? So I went up against the HP ZBook Fury, and we'll talk about that in its own review, that 18-inch mobile workstation. This did about an hour less because this has a 96 watt-hour battery. I think that one had a 99 watt-hour battery. So you're looking at close to the legal limit to take on an airplane. And again, 7.5 hours, I believe I got on this one on the PC Mark 10 Modern Office Test video playback, very similar. So I wasn't seeing terrible battery life. Usually when you get these big beasts, they really are not power efficient. This actually did better than I expected when it comes to longevity. So kudos to them for doing that. So pretty good overall with that. Now they do supply you with that 280 watt USB-C power adapter in the box. So I love the fact that it's USB-C. You don't have to worry about taking different charges, worrying about a barrel pin connection versus the other devices you take with you, which of course use USB-C. This standard is the way to go. I love it. And it certainly supplies enough juice with the 280 watts. So good job there by Dell in engineering that. Okay, so let's check out the port selection. On the left side, you get your RJ45 Ethernet port. It's 2.5 gigabits. You also get HDMI 2.1, two Thunderbolt 5 ports that support 80 gigabits per second. You also get your full-size SD card reader, which is always appreciated, and the optional smart card reader to round out the left side. On the right side is your 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack, a Thunderbolt 4 port that is full function. You get two USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1, and you get your Kensington lock port or lock slot to round out the ports on this unit. I would say all in all, an excellent port selection. I love the fact that the USB-C ports are split up, two on the left, one on the right, making it more convenient. All right, let's talk webcam here. And actually, it's a really good one. They put an 8 megapixel IR webcam. It's got really good quality as far as I'm concerned. But of course, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now let's give it a look and a listen. So we're looking at an 8 megapixel IR camera in terms of the webcam. It has a physical shutter switch above it for more security and privacy. This is looking pretty good. What do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the array mics in terms of the audio quality? Now, as far as the studio effects, they're all here. Obviously, the auto framing background effects are here. You can see the portrait blur, and here's the standard blur. You got eye contact. You got all that jazz in terms of that. We've seen it before. They do a really good job here in terms of the camera. So for video conferencing, this certainly gets the job done, but I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Now, one thing you'll notice here on this one is the optional fingerprint scanner. It's located on the lower right-hand corner of this deck here, and it actually is a good one. It worked really well, and of course, you don't have to get it with that, but it is an option. I know some companies do not want certain features, so that is one thing you can spec out or not have on it. So just that's up to you, but the one they sent over does have it. Now, one area where I think they could have done better, obviously with this chassis, is the audio. It's not terrible. It's actually good audio. It's stereo speakers here, Waves Max Plus audio, I believe. Anyway, it's got everything you'd want in terms of that. It just needs a little bit more oomph. It's hard to explain. I don't know. I know it's not scientific. It's okay, but they could have done better as far as I'm concerned. But you'd be the judge. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, let's give it a listen. Now, it's easy to get inside this unit. All you have to do is loosen the Phillips head screws, remove the bottom plate. It's pretty easy. Although I do like, and I will say this, I do like the HP ZBooks toolless entry a lot. So we'll talk about that in that video coming up as far as that review. But getting back to this, easy to get inside. Once you get inside, great job by the engineers in terms of the layout. 3 fans for cooling, 96 watt-hour battery, and you'll also notice 4 SSD slots. I have a RAID 0 configuration, and as you can see from the reads and writes, excellent. But I love having the ability to really go to town with storage on this, and it's user serviceable, so that is excellent. That is great. And the RAID 0 really brings excellent reads and writes. And speaking of the storage, for those wondering how much you can go up to, well, you can spec this out with 16 terabytes of storage. Yep, plenty of storage available with this unit. Cam 2 memory is an option here. I have 128 gigabytes, and that is an industry forward-thinking, forward-moving standard. Of course, you can go with traditional SODIMM slots, but of course, I am a big proponent of the Cam 2 memory, so great job there. And I will leave something, of course, in the description below regarding Cam memory, so for those that are interested in that. Now, as far as the Wi-Fi card, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth combo card, and everything worked well. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, no issue with either one. And obviously the optional 5G modem is there. Of course, I didn't get it in my review unit, but it is great for those that need it. So you want to spec it out with a 5G modem, you have that option. I am a big proponent of that, as you know. So overall, excellent user serviceability, upgradeability. So companies that will buy this will have the ability to swap out components and grow with the system as time goes on. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And I think that is, of course, the price. And this is not for your average consumer. So my caveat, I say this in every video when I do a mobile workstation, especially from Dell, HP, Lenovo. Don't expect to pay Best Buy prices like $9.99. You're not going to find that here. This is not for those type of audience or those type of consumers. This is actually for businesses, professional companies that need to buy these, and they'll buy them in bulk and they'll get discounts from Dell, HP, Lenovo. Especially Dell gives really good discounts, and they'll work with the companies. They do full service in terms of not only the hardware, but the services that go behind it, standing behind the product in terms of servicing and providing all the things to help it make it run efficiently and smoothly. Now, this one comes in at over $9,000, specifically $9,245. So very expensive. Obviously, we have pretty much fully decked out here. But you can obviously go for less money, but not quite have some of the specs that we have here in this review unit. That being said, this is really made for professional ISV certified applications. So if you're going to do SolidWorks, if you're going to do 3D rendering, if you're going to do architectural work, medical imaging, you're going to do high-end professional grade video editing, stuff like that. Movie studios will buy this and stuff like that. This is what it's meant to do. And high-end AI work. It did pretty well on the Geekbench AI benchmark, as we're starting to see more benchmarks on there. So you're going to be able to do a lot with these machines. And again, companies tend to buy these in bulk and will get discounts. So when you say, oh, this is way too expensive, I can just go get a MacBook or whatever. Sure, you could do that. But these have the drivers that are ISV certified. Again, like I said, if you're engineering and building a bridge, you want to make sure it may not be, you don't have to have the fastest, but you want to make sure it's the most accurate, the most precise in terms of the calculations. And maybe that's why they called it the precision line. Remember, that was its predecessor, its name. So makes sense, right? So you want it to be as precise as possible. And that's exactly what these type of mobile workstations bring to the table. So when you start poo-pooing the price, yeah, it's really expensive. I cannot go out and buy one of these. It would be prohibitively expensive, but companies will not blink at this. They'll make one or two projects and pay for it and then some. So just bear that in mind. Now, for those wondering, the base price is $34.88, but of course, this one is over $9,000. All right, let's bring it all home. And what do I think about the Dell Pro Max 18 Plus here for 2025? It is the standard in terms of the mobile workstations as far as I'm concerned. Now, I will give you my review of the HP ZBook Fury 18. That has some advantages over this that we'll talk about, but that one is not fed as much power in terms of the GPU, and they're running the same GPU. This one has 175 watts versus the 150 watts on that one, and we see the difference in the numbers. And speaking of the performance numbers, single multi-core, excellent here for doing not only your everyday work, but your professional grade applications, ISV certified applications. So if you are architects, medical imaging, high-end video editing, and all that stuff, yes, it does work. 3D rendering, it works really, really well. As far as battery life, pretty decent considering it does have a 96 watt hour battery and packing a punch under the hood. Actually, 7.5 hours on average is pretty darn good. Although I got a little bit more out of the HP, although that one has a slightly bigger battery. That one has 99 watt hours. This one has 96. Not a big difference, but it made a little bit in the grand scheme of things. Also, that one's fed less power, so that may account for that as well. The thermals on this are excellent. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic they did in terms of the engineering, but it is one of the quietest mobile workstations I've ever used, so that has been really good. The surface temperatures remained at bay, even under heavy load, And the fan noise, like I said, pretty remarkable, right? That it is so low. So kudos to them. In fact, the 16-inch, which is a smaller version of this that I'll have coming for you in the next few days, maybe early next week, it does have a less of thermal headway, so you will get a noticeably a louder fan noise, although not bad, but this one is just something special in my opinion. So thermals were excellent on this. So it's also got Cam 2 memory, which is an option, 128 gigabytes, but you can go with traditional SODIMM slots. Storage has been great on this. I have the RAID 0 configuration, and as obviously you saw from the reads and writes, excellent on this mobile workstation. 4 SSD slots for a total of 16 total, theoretically 16 terabytes of storage on this. And it's all user serviceable, and you gotta love that. So great serviceability as well. Negatives here, obviously the price, but again, I can't really call it a negative because companies will make this up in one project, maybe 2 projects, and they're done. They've already paid for this and then some. So it really is not an issue for a lot of these companies. They will not blink at this price point, and because they need to make sure it's the right tool to get the project and the job done. And this certainly can do the job. Now, as far as other negatives, well, I'd like to see a haptic touchpad, although not necessary, but at this high-end price point, I will say it would have been nice to have it. We will see it on the Dell Pro Max 14 Premium and 16 Premium as far as haptic touchpads are concerned. So stay tuned. Those are on the way. And I would say this is one of my favorite mobile workstations of all time. It's the beast, right? So it's got an 18-inch display. It's been great. It's got a little bit of heft on it, but to be expected. You're buying this for the type of power that this provides. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. As we're making our big push for 300,000 subscribers, if you're just a casual viewer, why not hit that subscribe button? It doesn't cost you anything, helps support the channel as we're making our big push for 300,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you're gonna buy something like the Dell Pro Max 18 Plus, yes, our affiliate links in the description below. No, it's not a huge commission, a small commission to help support the channel, helps keep the lights on here in the studio. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.